Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be my top complimented fragrances of 2023. And like last year, this isn't my top complimented of all time. These are fragrances that I purchased either the tail end of 2022 or in 2023 that got compliments. They're just a little bit more of that compliment where you kind of feel special. And I'm also going to be sharing some fragrances that I've complimented on other people. So more chilled, more relaxed, but let's go ahead and get into the video. We'll start off with probably the one I got the most compliments on this year, and that is Valleja. Every time I wear Valleja, I usually get a compliment. This is a fragrance that I put in my fragrances that evoke the color white. This is a very white fragrance. This is clean, it's fresh, it's sophisticated, it's chic, very beautifully blended. But it's one that when I was testing it, I do go slightly nose blind to this one, and I say slightly because I won't smell it and then I'll do something and I'll notice it, but I'll notice it a lot. So when I was testing this fragrance out, and this I did mention in my video, I sprayed it down my arm and the rep was like, you don't need to do that, that perfume performs. But I couldn't smell it until I tested it the second time, and then I could not get this perfume out of my mind. So I ended up purchasing it, and it became my birthday scent where I had people come over, and every time I went in for a hug, I got a compliment. Neighbors down the street, Grace, Armando, are two specifically where they were like, you smell good. And then everyone else around me was just telling me that I smelled good. I will say I did overdo it. This is a perfume you don't have to overspray. This is definitely one that leaves a pretty decent sillage, and someone always tells me I smell nice. So again, that's Valleja by Perfumes de Mali. Another fragrance that I did get in the tail end of 2022, and it got me compliments right away, and I'm gonna mention it again this year, and that is Juliet Has a Gun Magnolia Bliss. Now, this could just be my body chemistry because I know some people don't enjoy this fragrance, but the story I told you guys last year was my cousin Natalie. So this was my scent of the day for Thanksgiving, and I remember sitting there thinking, man, no one's told me I smelled good. I know that sounds bad. But as I was leaving, I went to go hug and kiss my cousin Natalie goodbye. And she's like, what are you wearing? You smell really good, Becky. It's just one of those compliments where it's like super genuine. Not like, oh, you smell nice. It's like they want to know. And I had already been at my aunt's. I would say I had this fragrance on for about 4 hours already, and I went nose blind. I didn't think I smelled like anything anymore. Now, again, a lot of compliments come from when I go in for that hug or that kiss hello or goodbye. This time it was her sister Jessica. When I went over for breakfast, I hugged her and she was like, Becky, you smell good. It is one that I kind of need to go in for that hug for someone to compliment me, but it's one that every time I wear it, there is always someone who tells me, you smell good, or what are you wearing? So I did want to mention it because I got it in the tail end of 2022, and it instantly became a compliment getter, and it continues to get me compliments. And again, that's Juliet Has a Gun Magnolia Bliss. So you know it wouldn't be story time if I didn't talk about my mom. So I got a compliment from my mom on Eden Sparkling Lychee. Now this is a fragrance that sits very close to your bubble. So it is one that I sprayed right before we went for our walk. And as soon as we went outside, she's like, ooh, you smell good. What are you wearing? I do feel like she was able to smell it because I had just sprayed it. So I do want to point that out, but it is one that got me a compliment. I'm sure that if I hugged someone, they would compliment me, but I had to include my mom because she is always trying to let me know when she loves one, which is gonna lead me into my next one. So another mom compliment. This was after, I want to say it was after I finished filming my review where I talk about Dior's J'adore L'Or and Dior Riviera. And I had really doused myself in J'adore L'Or. And I want to say it was that day. It was like in the evening, we were sitting down on the couch and she's like, you smell really good. What are you wearing? And I told her, well, actually, it's a perfume that I'm planning on gifting you. And her face lit up. I told her it was the new J'adore, and I showed her the bottle and she was super excited. I was really happy with that compliment because even though I wasn't going to be staying with the fragrance, I got to see how much she enjoyed it before I gifted it to her. So again, that is J'adore L'Or. Okay, so I didn't get many compliments from Dennis this year, but one that did stand out recently was when I wore Lattafa's Camera Kahwa. And this was one that I had purchased a few Middle Eastern perfumes so we could both wear. And he did test this one out. And he didn't really care for this scent on him. He said it was a little too sweet for him and his taste. But I ended up wearing it, and he's like, oh, are you wearing that one scent? And I go, what scent? And he's like, the coffee one. And I said, yeah, do you like it? And he's like, well, I like it on you. So to me, that's a compliment. So I did want to point that out, because Dennis doesn't really point out perfumes unless he really likes it. Like his Alien and Delina, those are perfumes that he really enjoys on me. So even though this one didn't work out for him, he did end up layering it, and he said he preferred it that way. He did say he liked this one on me. So this one did get a compliment. It was more so, oh, what are you wearing? Are you wearing that perfume? But again, that's Kamra's Kahwa. I'm just gonna pop this one in here because I did one of the last times that I went into the office, because I have been home more. I did wear this one into the office, and I usually get a compliment from my girl Marcy because she loves perfumes, but she did point this one out and said I smelled good. I do find that the entire Liep range usually gets me a compliment. This one is the new L'Absolu Platine. And then last, before we get into the perfumes that I've complimented on other people, we have the original YSL Liep mixed with Burberry Goddess. This got a compliment from the president of my office. I passed by him and he said, you smell good, and it was that combination. Again, that's Burberry Goddess with YSL's Liep, the original. All right, I'm sure there are other fragrances that got me compliments, but those are the ones that stuck out because people went out of their way to tell me I smelled good. And it's not your typical, oh, you smell good. It was a little bit more out of the way kind of compliments. So some compliments that I have mentioned, I swear this girl must be over me. But my friend Day, her girlfriend, she wears a combination of perfumes. She wears Burberry Her Elixir, which you guys know I passed on that perfume. But that perfume on her is gorgeous. She wears that one, and she wears Louis Vuitton's Symphony. Both of those fragrances on her, whether it's each one on their own or mixed together, I'm telling you, every time she comes over, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? I mean, this girl must be like, I'm tired of you asking me what I'm wearing.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
Usually when I ask her, it's one or the other or mixed together. Another reason why perfume is so subjective, I actually passed this fragrance on to her, and not only could I smell it on her, because you guys know that this is a fragrance that I found performance to be a disappointment, but it smelled different on her, and that was BDK's Pas Ce Soir. It is one that I had to hug her to smell her, but when I hugged her, I'm like, you smell good, and don't tell me it's Symphony because it smells different. And she's like, no, it's one of the ones that I picked up from you, and I couldn't even think of it. And then finally I was like, Pas Ce Soir? And she was like, yes. So that is another one that on her smelled absolutely amazing. All right, and then we have a couple on my friend Day. She's another person that loves perfume. I was happy because I was able to pick this one out. A perfume that I actually gifted to her was Versace Dylan Blue. She had came over and it smelled familiar, but I wasn't sure, and I'm like, you smell good. And she like looked at me, and then I'm like, Versace Dylan Blue. So that was one that I gave her a compliment on. Now this next one, this is one that I really enjoy, but I ended up passing on because I gave her the travel. She really liked it, and she was willing to purchase my larger bottle. And that is Replica's Jazz Club. Now Jazz Club is one that I would mix with By the Fireplace, but when I gave her the travel set of By the Fireplace, Jazz Club, and Bubble Bath, she really enjoyed Jazz Club. She wore it the other day when we were doing karaoke, and I hugged her and I'm like, what are you wearing? You smell good. And she's like, Jazz Club. That is one that I think smells better on her. There are just fragrances that to me go more with her and my sister, which are your less fruity florals and more of your unisex kind of woody fragrances. I have complimented my mom on a lot of the Lancome Idols. She has the original and all of the flankers, and every time she wears an Idol, they just all smell good on her. So I like the original on me. I don't care for the flankers, but those are definitely fragrances that smell really nice on her. Those are my top complimented fragrances of 2023 that I have received a compliment or I smelled on other people and I just was mesmerized. Let me know in the comments below what are some of your top complimented fragrances, but that will do it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.